So I did have a question for you. It was actually for you and Kenya. Um, Somebody came to me and they were talking about hair salons. The Apparently recently hair salons have got the leverage over the client to enough to feel like, well, certain ones feel like that they can charge the full price if somebody doesn't show up to their appointment. Say if you no call no show or call with not that much time left, that they'll keep your whole they'll charge you the whole fee instead of just taking the deposit from you.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel about that?
I think it's fair
Why?
because time is money, and somebody who has a large clientele definitely could have had that spot book. So instead of them taking a $50 deposit for that time that you wasted of theirs, they could have had $300-400 depending on what the hairstyle was. So yeah, that's definitely fair. Hmm.
I
I feel like you definitely teach people how to treat you, and I'm not going to lose out on my whole bag just because I'm trying to be nice to you. You'll
um,
respect me, and you'll respect my time.
so your time, if you didn't do the work, you should come up with a certain calculation on what your time is worth without you having to do the work though, because you didn't do all the work. I don't feel like it's fair that you charge them the whole price.
It's absolutely fair. You sectioned off a type. Uh, you sectioned off a piece of my schedule to get services rendered, which I specialize in. Not only that, because I'm guessing that the people who are doing this, they probably already have a large clientele. Otherwise, because what that's saying to me is, if you don't like this policy, you can go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So, and for people to make a policy like that, and they don't care if you mad, and they don't care if you go somewhere else, that means they have a large clientele already, and the people who do book with them are definitely going to show up.
Well, no, I feel like that's bad business. And I feel like that's bad business 101 because there's things that happen to where emergencies happen. Like emergencies happen. I'm not talking about the person who's careless. Yeah, if
Mm-hmm.
you're the person who's careless, you block them from being able to schedule. But there's things that happen. I might have got into a car wreck or something on the way to come see you or whatever. Like calling you wouldn't be my first thing, but now I'm in a hospital laid up with this hospital bill, and you're about to charge me $350 for my hair appointment. Like that's not right.
Okay, so what we're not going to do is that, because I know that you're king hypothetical, and what I know about uh, doing hair and all of that is that's the scenario that's less likely. The more likely scenario is that you're goofing off and you were irresponsible with your time, and now you're impacting me. Now, granted, if that was a situation where you were in a car accident and you were in the hospital and you couldn't contact me and da 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 da, that part, I feel like the person who's doing the hair could use empathy and make it a judgment call to say, well, I can, this is my business, so I can not, I can lift those policy guidelines for this extenuating circumstance. But most of the time, it's not that. I'm guaranteeing you it's not that. That's why a lot of people, even if they're doing hair out of their house, are making you do deposits because they know how people play.
Yeah, deposit is different from you taking my whole like you did my hair. That's totally different. I agree on deposits. Deposits is I feel like that's the perfect thing to do. And I feel like if you do a no call no show, you should be blocked from being able to schedule an appointment again.
Well, now, especially in the pandemic and people needing their coin, I'm okay with them because to me, if you want whatever services being rendered and it's $300-400, you pay that up front. It's guaranteed. It's I wouldn't say guaranteed, but more likely than not, you are definitely gonna show up. $50, you might be like, dang, I'm gonna miss my $50, but you probably gonna still do it. Meanwhile, this whole time slot that I could have had somebody else in, that still puts me at a deficit of, if the hairstyle was 400, that's still gonna put me at a deficit for 350 for the money I thought that I was gonna make for the day. So No.
You could always get somebody else in there, especially if you talk about your clientele is that big. You can always get somebody else in
there. Maybe not last minute. Maybe not last minute. We penciled you in on this schedule. So this is not a walk-in. You made a priority appointment. So
yeah. I would just call whoever the next appointment was and tell them they could come in early and try to get it on the back end.
That's not guaranteed to happen.
It's not, but it's also not guaranteed that I was goofing off. Like, life things happen.
You're being hypothetical. What I'm telling you
I'm not
this situation is it's not likely that it's going to be an emergency situation to where you don't come. You're playing games and you didn't show up.
That's your opinion. Certain things do happen to certain people, and that could be a situation.
So why do you think that if that's the case, because I'm guessing that whoever this is who's charging the full price for the hairstyle, I'm guessing that they initially did the whole deposit thing too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so why do you think that they changed their policy to paying for the full hairstyle?
I don't know this person.
Because people still played and made them miss money.
But if she's playing now on the other end, there's the person who you might be waiting in their shop for them and they're not there yet. Mm-hmm. So what about that on the other end of that?
Oh, I definitely do not like have to know, and that's I think a lot of black hair salons are guilty of is taking all day with your hair. Like, I feel like you need to respect your client's time as well.
So yeah, exactly. So if that's the same person, how do you feel about that? Now I understand what you're talking about. If you're like a Vidal Sasson, a respected client, and everybody's there at a certain shift, you got clients and all right. But what if you're the person who's never there? You're always running late, and I'm sitting there waiting for you to come in, and you're still the same person screaming at you. If you're late, I'm taking your money. Like,
it's about the bag. Go somewhere else. This person does not respect your time. No matter how good they do your hair, go find somebody else, because there is somebody else who probably does hair just as good. You got to find them. But I think that goes for all black businesses. Sometimes people think that you're supposed to patronize them just because they're black. No matter how unprofessional they are, no matter how poor of a quality of service they render to you, you're supposed to, no, my money matters, my time matters. I want to be respected as the patron as well. So if I don't like how you're doing me, I don't like the quality of service, I will go somewhere else. And it doesn't matter that you're black. I would love to support you, but you need to step your game up and be more professional.
And something I want to say is, just because you own a business don't mean that you're a businessman or businesswoman. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are careless and frivolous with their time, and which when people see that you're not serious about it, mm-hmm. they will take their business somewhere else.
Absolutely. And one thing I learned about in the industry that I work in currently is they teach you early on, word of mouth goes a long way. So if I say, oh, I like Janet to do my hair, but I had to stop going to her because she be stopping and taking breaks for an hour and a half, and then I don't get out of there till 5-6 hours later, and I can't afford to have my whole Saturday held up. So that's why I don't go there. So I might tell my friend might tell her family, like the impact of word of mouth is very strong. So I say all that to say people definitely need to be mindful of their level of professionalism and as well as the quality of their service.
Yeah, we disagree. I feel like a deposit should be good enough, even if it's more than what a normal deposit would be. I feel like the person should calculate how much they feel like their time is really worth, and make that deposit. So if it's a $400 hairstyle, if it has to be $125 deposit, so be it.
What do you mean? I don't understand what you're saying.
I'm saying you keep the deposits non-refundable, but I don't feel like you should charge somebody the whole 400 if they're not actually sitting in your chair getting their hair done.
Oh, I guess. And I guess we can agree to disagree on that. I just know, being a woman and how people are, that most likely, not without even knowing who it is that you're talking about, they had that deposit situation in place and people kept burning them. So that's a lot of money that they're losing out on. And that's why they had to change their policy to, you got to pay me up front for this hairdo.
I would just be
And
blocking
that's
the power
it to
out.
me. And that's a good way to, that's a really good way to weed out the bad seeds, because there's somebody, if there's somebody who I really like the way that they do my hair and they do a good job, I will pay you the money up front, and please believe I'm showing up. And it won't matter to me. If this is what your policy is, I'll abide by the policy or go somewhere else.
Until the one day,
that's like, to me, that policy says, bye. I have my loyal ones, and they're gonna show up. If you don't like it, go find somebody else.
So the one day you don't show up and it's your money being taken out.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, but also I feel like when it comes to you and your stylist, that's kind of especially if this is somebody who you're loyal to and you give them lots of business, they will show preferential treatments to somebody who's loyal, who's been coming to them for any length of time. Y'all, you guys have developed a sort of, not sort of, you've developed a bond as hairstylist / client. So they most likely will show leniency towards you, to where they wouldn't show it to Joe Schmo just coming in trying to get their hair done, on a whim.
mm-hmm.
So
Definitely.
I'm sure you know that about barbers, if you got a barber you go to regularly.
Yep. So everything's about respecting people's time and being responsible.
Yep. And I'm like really big on people respecting my time. Like, when people don't respect my time, I hate it.
Yeah, I hear you on that.
Hate it. Like, oh, it's the worst. Because you can't get it back,
Then I'm sitting there waiting on you, and you coming in all nonchalant, talking about I had to go to the store with 3 bags, and you like, I was sitting here waiting to get my hair cut.
Right. Right.
For half an hour.
Now you pull up. Now you can be like, I ain't going back to Jonah. He played too much.
Where? But that happened in everything. It even happened on dates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like you say, you're gonna be ready at 6.
Nope. I think I'm not annoyed with dates when it's just like a dinner, but when it's like something that we're like a show or something that we're supposed to go to, and you're running late for that, it's like,
mm-hmm.
if you like your time management skills are terrible at that point. That's how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if I was already talking to you earlier that day, you didn't run into any emergencies. It's like, you had all day to plan for this, and you're still running late.
Mm-hmm. But I think as people, I would really love for us to do better with teaching people how to treat us. Because somebody do that to you once, you got to show them that's unacceptable. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, I think a lot of these hairstylists, though, too, they know they got the leverage because people need their hair done. There's a demand for people, there's a demand for good hairstylists. Mm-hmm. And I feel like they know that they can do anything right now, and people are still going to accept it because they need them. It depends on who has the leverage at this time. I feel like the hairstylists have the leverage, and they know that. And
but also they didn't give that. I don't really feel like they did. They didn't get that leverage by having shoddy work either. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, good. So, but another thing too, we got to stop doing, and I see this on social media a lot. And it's not just with hairstylists, But a lot of people that start getting their own businesses, they start talking down on people who don't, um, they're not on the same level as them, or they're not, or just the basic person, 9 to 5. They make it seem like they're on some boss shit instead of, you know what I mean? Almost like making the 9 to 5 try to make them look bad because they're not entrepreneuring.
I mean, but see, and that's the thing. There's nothing wrong with that. Being an entrepreneur, or being a boss, I think that's a certain personality, a certain mindset. Everybody can't do it. You know what I'm saying?
Not everybody tries to do it. And that's the thing. And a lot of people out here, and that's what I was saying, as far as just because you own your business don't mean that you're a businesswoman or a businessman. There's a way that you should hold yourself and hold your business to a certain type of integrity, to where you should treat it like your Yelp. You should want 5 stars or whatever. You know what I mean? A lot of people, I can't say that about their businesses, and still they're walking around like their shit don't stink. A lot of times I have bad experiences with businesses, but then you'll see them on the internet acting like their business is the best.
Right.
So I don't know. I guess a lot of people got to do a lot of self-reflecting.
Right, because I know as far as the numbers definitely don't reflect the amount of people who feel like they bosses, because don't they say there's a high percentage of businesses that fail, especially within the first year. So
definitely. Somebody get a couple clients and think that they're this shit.
but.
It's not